So what is this awful thing that you do to earn your money?
Programming, computer programming.
And how many hours do you spend doing it?
40.
And so, well, what are you doing with all of the other time? You spend a paltry 40 hours earning your living, 12 hours making your heart sing. What are you doing with all the rest of the time? Is that the complaining time?
I suppose, let's see, what percent of it is that?
We see people, they'll say, I want to be full-time at my personal quest. And so they will stop their job sometimes prematurely. And even though they now are not working, they still don't apply very much more to the other, because creative work does not take that much time. When you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, authors, artists, writers, they will tell you that they spend the majority of their life doing other things, and the inspiration comes in spurts. And the reason that it comes in spurts is because it does not take that much. A good idea, do you know that an idea that comes from your alignment will be enough to then solicit from you a whole lot of action? In other words, you really don't want full-time inspiration flowing through you, because there would not be enough time for you to clean up with the action part of it. It does not take very much time in a creative bent to really set things off. And so what we're hearing from you and feeling from you, and it's present with many of you, it certainly is something that is a human experience, is that you just flat out don't want to do some of the things that you do. And in not wanting to do some of the things that you do, you're drawing that comparison. Don't want to do this, do want to do this. But you know what you're doing? You're messing this up with the not wanting to do this. Can you hear that? In other words, every moment. It's such an odd thing. You say, oh no, it's two different subjects. It's computer programming, which I don't mind doing, just don't want to do it that much. And then there's my music, which I really want to do. And we say, all of that time that you are less than happy about what you're spending more time doing, you're holding yourself in resistance so that this 12 hours can't expand to more money, to more time, to more connections, to more avenues. It just can't do it. So you sat down, you said the most important thing. You hardly wanted to get into the dialogue of it, because often getting into the dialogue of it makes you uncomfortable. And that is your work. You've got to start talking about it and feeling joyful about it.
That's what I'm asking for some assistance with.
Every musician, every artist who... All right, let's start in another place. There are people who dabble at their craft, who earn massively, simply because it doesn't take that much time when you get tuned in that way. If you, while you are not performing your music or practicing it, if you can acknowledge that soon you will be doing that full time, how do you think you would feel in the computer programming? Do you think if you thought about your music while you're programming your computers, what would happen to your computer programming?
Enjoy it more, probably, because I wouldn't be wanting to be somewhere else.
No, that's not what would happen. What would happen is you would lose your focus from your computer programming. You wouldn't do as well at it. You wouldn't feel as satisfied by it. You might even get fired from it. What would happen if you found a way to find as much pleasure in your computer programming as you do in your music?
Well, presumably then I'd thrive more in that.
So you fear that if you were to get good at that the universe would make you get stuck there. So you don't want to be too excited about that for fear the universe will say, oh, he likes that, give him more of that.
Yeah.
But you see, that's not the way that it works. If you could find joy in that, so what would happen? As you start focusing upon the positive aspects of your computer programming, you'll get better at it, but you'll release resistance, and the music, which is really what's calling you, will become a more dominant part of your experience. Isn't that interesting? As you look into your computer programming experience and you acknowledge how much of it is the same, in other words, how in the same way that the inspiration comes to you and you can perform your music, inspiration comes to you and you can program your computer. In the same way that ideas come together that make for more perfect exploration and expansion, it's the same sort of process. No?
Not so much in my experience. I mean, maybe better programmers, that's true. I mean, I'm not somebody who does a lot of creative programming more. So it seems like the processes are very different to me.
It doesn't matter with it, but everything is the same. This is the thing that we're wanting you to understand. When you say, I am unhappy in my now because I'm doing this instead of this, we say, then you can't get there from there.
Right.
And
I've been listening to the tapes.
so then you say, but I can't find that much to be happy about in what I'm doing. And we say, but that is your job. Right. There's this tendency to say, I want to be over there, but I'm over here, and I can't get over there, I'm over here. And that's the worst possible place to be in. When all along, what's over there has flourished, it's big, it's compelling, it's calling you. The circumstances and events have been aligned. We began here today by talking about how sometimes people swoop in and make things better. And so one of those swoopers would swoop in and say to you, you shouldn't have to be doing this boring computer programming with all of this talent. So we'll just set that aside and we'll pick you up and we'll put you over here, there. But the universe says instead, everything that you want is over here, alive and bright and calling you. But you're so ornery about your computer programming that you can't hear it and you can't come. And you say, I can't get cheerful about computer programming. It isn't what I want to do. And we say, even if you were to pick yourself up, quit that job, walk over here, if you took that action before the energy is lined up, it would resist you. In other words, it would not work. So you have one choice and one choice only. You have to get happy where you are. You have to make peace with where you are. And so we begin by saying there are many parallels between the creative genius in the music and the creative genius in the computer programming. And you say, not the kind of computer programming I do. I don't see the parallel. And we say the parallel exists because the laws of the universe are the same. It's the same dynamics no matter what it is that you're applying it to, you see. You'll hear more as we're moving forward, but the emphasis that we are trying to establish, it is the thing that we want all of you to hear more than everything else put together. You are where you are. It's like you put your boat in the stream wherever you put your boat in the stream. So you've put your boat in the stream right in the middle of a 40-hour programming week. That's where you're putting your boat in the stream. And you don't have a choice. You can't put your boat in the stream at 40 hours a week in music. You're putting your boat in the stream where it is. And so the only question is, now I've got my boat in the stream, am I letting go of the oars and going in the direction of what I really want to do, or am I resisting the stream? And we say, you're resisting the stream by acknowledging that you're having to do something that you don't really want to do. So what might you say that would cause you to loosen your grip on those oars? How can you make peace with computer programming? Make some statements and see if it turns you downstream.
Well, I work with a lot of really great people who are very, who are, they're fun to work with. They're very smart people. I have a flexible schedule with which I really like. Make good money. I don't mind going to work every day. Things are generally pretty good at work for me. Sometimes it gets I get a little upstream when I get a deadline or something that I've got
All
to
right,
work
now
on.
your words sound really good, but we still don't feel like you've turned downstream yet. Do you feel it? So just keep talking, because you're on the right track, but talk until you actually feel. In other words, this is sort of like so many words, and we know you're cooperating with us nicely, but but no energy is really shifted here, because it's sort of like, this is what
Stuck.
I do, but it's all right, just keep going.
That's about the best I can do, I guess.
I'm
There are-
happy that it's paying the rent. I'm happy that I am well paid at it. And I am realizing that it was what I needed when I needed it. And it came to me at the perfect time in my life. And I always knew, I guess, that it wasn't going to be what I was going to do forever. It always was just a path or a step along the way to what I'm really wanting to do. And it has served me very well in that way. And I'm quite proud of myself for filling in my financial gap with something like this. It was a good thing that I've done. And I've been good at not getting myself too head over heels with this. I've not really made this my life's work. I'm sort of holding myself aloof within it, because I know it's not my life's work. And that's a good thing, because while it's not really stimulating to me in the way that it could, the reason I don't dig into it with everything I've got is because I have something else that I'm on my way to. So really, everything is pretty darn perfect for me, because I'm making my own way. I'm making my money. I always knew that this was not my career path. It was just part of the path along the way to who I really am and what I'm really wanting. So I guess I really don't have a problem in the world, because over here what I'm really wanting is percolating. My career is percolating. The ideas are still flowing. I have the good fortune of being able to put 12 or 20 hours a week into the music, and that feels really good, and it doesn't distract from the other, and I have plenty of time to do all of this. And so when I think about my life and how I'm managing it, I realize that I'm right on track. I'm managing it exactly right. I have not a thing to complain about at all. I'm so looking forward to my bright creative future in music. I'm exhilarated about where I'm going, and I'm happy about where I am. Everything's working out really well for me. I'm anticipating getting to see more evidence of my career path unfolding before me, and I have a feeling that there's going to be enough momentum that for a while I might feel torn a little bit. In other words, I can feel the music business coming on stronger and stronger and stronger, while I don't really want to let go of the other, because it is providing more. But I can see that more money will begin flowing, and it's going to reach the place where I'll have this choice where suddenly the fulcrum will move a little bit and the teeter-totter will tip, and I'll realize, I know, I can almost smell it. I'm almost on the brink of being able to say, woohoo, now I can move 100% into that, and I can leave this very wonderful job that has yielded so much to me on my way. And there will be a time not so far from now that I will lovingly look back and pat that computer programming job on the head and say, you were exactly what I needed. Thank you for being there for me when I needed you. It was the agreement we had. I told you I was never going to be with you forever. You always knew that we were just temporary. I was just using you on my way to something that I'm really wanting, and that was the agreement that we had, and I will love you forever, but now this is what I'm going to do.
Sounds like fun.
Good time for a segment of refreshment. We are complete.